Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into a sermon today, Greater Works Part 4 by Pastor Jerry Eze, and he's got this whole thing about a greater works generation, so
Yeah.
we're going to kind of unpack that. And
He's really fascinating. And he's a Nigerian pastor, by the way, just for context. Really made an impact with his online ministry.
yeah, so let's jump in. One of the first things that caught my eye was this whole drunken generation bit. Now, before anyone gets the wrong idea,
Right.
we're not talking about, hitting the bottle here. It's more like a spiritual thing.
Exactly. It's a metaphor. He's talking about
Mm.
surrendering to the Holy Spirit. Like, that's what you need to really do great things. And think about it. When someone's drunk, what happens? They're all over the place. Not exactly logical, but
Uninhibited.
right. Not held back by the usual stuff like fear or doubt.
So to do these greater works, we got to let go of control, basically, and just trust in, well, something bigger.
You got it. It's like sometimes your gut, your faith that takes you places logic wouldn't.
Oh, I've totally been there. Have you ever just felt something in your gut, even if it didn't make sense and it turned out right?
All the time. Those leaps of faith, going beyond yourself, that's what Pastor Eze is saying is key for these, well, greater work.
Makes sense. So how does this drunkenness tie into his other idea, the prophetic calendar?
Ah, the calendar. So it's basically this idea that God has a timeline for your life, for what you're meant to do. But it's not just regular time, it's like divinely timed.
So there's a bigger plan and things happen when they're supposed to.
Exactly. And he says if you don't get where you fit into this calendar, you might make the wrong choices. Like take shortcuts, settle for less than what you could achieve.
Whoa, that's deep. So if there is this timeline, how do we figure out where we are on it?
Great question. He's big on prayer, reflection, finding mentors who can guide you spiritually. It's all about connecting with the Holy Spirit to figure that out.
Makes sense. Now, another thing he keeps saying, and it really hit me, is this stay one place idea, all about focus, being dedicated.
Yeah, and that's tough nowadays, right? We're constantly distracted, notifications, pressure to do a million things at once.
It's like that fear of missing out, always jumping around. But he's saying true achievement needs you to stay put, resist all that, and commit to something specific.
And there's actually research on this. Multitasking makes you less productive. Trying to do everything at once, you end up doing nothing well.
So true. So it's not just spiritual, it's practical advice for any part of life.
Totally. He's making us think, what are we really putting our energy into? Spreading ourselves thin or focusing on something meaningful, something that matters?
Big question for all of us. Now, switching gears a bit, he also uses this really strong image of fire for transformation.
Yeah, he talks about fire changing your language, which is interesting. Not just words, but your thoughts, beliefs, even how you communicate changes.
So when you truly change inside, it shows in how you deal with the world.
Exactly. It's like the fire refines you, burns away the old stuff, and you're more, well, genuine.
Powerful image. He even talks about things corrected by fire. What do you think that means?
I think it's about facing the bad stuff head on. Using that inner fire to get past obstacles, to, I don't know, build your character. Those tough times can make you grow.
So not avoiding them, but using them to fuel your, well, transformation.
Exactly. It takes guts to face your fears, your weaknesses, but you come out stronger, more resilient.
That's inspiring. It's like not just surviving, but using those challenges to grow spiritually and do those greater works.
And this whole fire thing connects to another big idea, finding your unique voice. It's like God gives each of us this voice that's just for us, for a specific reason and for specific people. And he uses Pentecost, when the disciples suddenly spoke all those languages, to show this. Can you imagine being there, hearing them in your own language, even though they'd never learned it?
Wow, that must have blown people's minds. Really shows how our voices are meant to connect with, like, the right people in a deep way. So if we buy into that, it kind of begs the question, what is your unique voice?
Makes you think, right? What gets you fired up? What are you good at? Who are you meant to reach with whatever you have to say?
Those are good questions to ponder. I've definitely held back sometimes from sharing ideas or doing what I'm passionate about because of fear or doubt.
It's easy to let those negative voices win. But Pastor Eze, he says those voices usually come from fear and insecurity. He even has this phrase, it's like things corrected by fire.
So we shouldn't let those voices put out our inner fire.
Yeah. Recognize that those challenges, those doubts, they can actually make you stronger, more determined to use your voice for good.
I like that. It's like the fire's not something to be scared of. It's fuel for growth and transformation.
And he's not saying it'll be a walk in the park. There'll be people who'll try to shut you down, mock your ideas, all that. But he says, stand firm in what you believe. Use your passion and your, conviction to fight that negativity and inspire change.
This is hitting home, honestly. It's
Oh,
like he's giving us permission to be bold, to step up and make a difference, even when it's scary.
it's a call to action, for sure. Step into those greater works. Use your unique voice. Don't let fear stop you from doing what you're meant to do.
Okay, so we've got this spiritual drunkenness,
Yeah.
figuring out our place in the prophetic calendar and finding our unique voice. Pretty deep stuff.
No kidding. And it's cool how he ties all this to the Holy Spirit. Like, it's the key to unlocking our potential, guiding us, giving us the power to do those greater works.
Right, he talked about being filled with the Holy Spirit, being like drunk, not literally, of course, but
Yeah,
in the sense of being totally surrendered, letting the Spirit take the lead, letting go of control and trusting in, well, something bigger.
exactly. He's all about building a real relationship with the Holy Spirit through prayer, studying the Bible, and just being open to guidance. Like the Spirit's always talking to us, guiding us toward our purpose.
And he warns against comparing ourselves to others because everyone's journey is different. It all unfolds according to God's plan.
So important. It's easy to get caught up in that comparison game, but it just leads to feeling bad about yourself. Each of us has our own path, and we got to trust God's timing.
He also uses like personal stories and examples to make these ideas easier to understand, which I appreciate.
He's a great storyteller. I remember that one about being invited to an after party after some work thing. He was tempted to go, but he felt strongly that he shouldn't because it didn't fit with his values.
Yeah, it was all about staying true to your convictions, even when it's tough or makes you stand out.
Exactly. Living your faith isn't just about what you believe, it's about what you do. Making choices that show you're committed to God, following his path, even when it's not the easy or popular thing.
So sometimes the greatest works aren't the ones that get you attention or praise, they're the ones you do, because God's calling you to do them no matter what.
And the journey is just as important as the destination. Embrace the good, the bad, the ugly. It's all part of growing and changing.
Listening to him, it makes you think differently about what a meaningful life really is. It's not just achieving stuff. It's becoming the best you, using your talents to make the world a better place.
He's all about tapping into that power of the Holy Spirit, embracing your voice, facing negativity with that fire that can't be put out.
He's pushing us to step up, do those greater works, create a world where everyone feels empowered to live with purpose and meaning. What do you think is his most important point?
Besides all the big ones we talked about, I think it's his focus on those small steps you take, the ones you do, because God's leading you, even if they seem insignificant.
So it's not about waiting for some big life-changing thing, but seeing those little nudges and acting on them.
Yeah, like Pastor Eze uses this analogy of a small sound, a whisper almost, for how God talks to us. It's about picking up on those subtle things, those moments of inspiration or conviction, and then, actually doing something about it.
Makes you think about all the times you might have ignored a thought or feeling because it seemed too small, not important enough.
Right, we've all done it. But what if those whispers are the key to the whole greater works thing? What if those tiny steps are actually leading us to where we're supposed to be?
It's like a treasure hunt with clues hidden right in front of you. You just got to be looking for them.
That's a great way to put it. It's about being tuned in to the Holy Spirit, being able to hear his voice, even with all the noise and distractions around us.
This deep dive has been incredible, honestly. I feel like I've got a whole new understanding of living a life with purpose and impact. How about you?
Definitely. Pastor Easy's message is like challenging, but also really encouraging. He reminds us that we're all capable of so much more than we think.
He really pushes us to get out of our comfort zone and embrace what's possible when we surrender to something bigger, find our voice, and become a force for good in the world.
Yeah, he's saying we're not meant to live ordinary lives. We're called to do greater works, to make a difference, to leave a mark that goes beyond ourselves.
Anyone who wants to explore these ideas more, definitely check out Pastor Eze's full sermon. You can find it on his YouTube channel.
And as you keep going on your own journey, remember to stay connected to what gives you strength and inspiration. Embrace your unique voice and never stop seeking guidance as you step into those greater works that God has planned just for you.
This has been amazing. I hope you found it as thought-provoking and inspiring as I have. Until next time, keep searching, keep growing, and keep shining your light.